Thank you for joining us today for our meditation time. Please know if a concern or joy has come up for you, prayer chaplains are available after service. If you are live streaming, you can go online, request a prayer, and a prayer chaplain will respond to you. May you go forth into your week experiencing divine presence within you and around you. Service will start in 10 minutes.
There's one up on the platform, on the podium, actually. Jeremy Lieber, everyone. I love this. Look, the piano is open. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Unity in Marin. I'm Reverend Deanne Morency. I am the senior minister here, and I'm thrilled to be. I'm seeing faces I haven't seen in a while. Yay! We always love that. If you're watching on the live stream, thank you so much for joining us whenever you're joining us. Just know that we're holding you as if you are here in this space of consciousness with us right now. I want everyone in here to turn around and wave hello to everybody who's on the live stream right now. Just know that you're in our hearts. It's been quite a year, hasn't it? I was going to say week, then I was like month, then I was like year. How's everyone doing? Yeah. Let's just take a collective breath together, shall we? Because we're here, right? I heard somebody say we're here. And, I know sometimes when stress and everything that's sort of happening kind of bears down on us, there's an impulse to just want to contract in and huddle and get under the sheets. And so there is something very restorative about coming together in Sacred Sangha. There's something that we get invited into when we get to come together, and that includes when you're opening your heart, whether you're watching remotely or not. So thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for yourself and for each other, and what we know that means is ultimately for the world. So one of the reasons why it's been quite an interesting time for many of us here. So Cindy Acker's daughter, Brianna, who many of us know and love, her boyfriend, Steve, passed away very unexpectedly last week. Very unexpectedly. And so he loved Unity in Marin, and he loved coming here, and he felt seen, and he felt loved. And so there will be a celebration of life in Alameda sometime in the next coming weeks, and we will make sure that we get that information out to anyone who wishes to attend and to support. There is so he was raised Latter-day Saints. I was going to say LSD, not that. He was raised LDS. No disrespect meant to the Latter-day Saints. So they're doing a memorial service, which is what their tradition would be, and that is going to be next weekend. So Cindy will be in Utah for that, which does create some logistical issues around the Social Justice Choir for No King's Day, but the Social Justice Choir is still doing it. We're just figuring out how that's going to happen, okay? So we will share details for Steve, but I really would just love everyone to please hold Brianna. She's doing great, and she's a wreck, right? Like, she's all of those things simultaneously. So we just really want to hold her and hold Cindy, because Cindy is holding her daughter, her own grief. Steve taught tennis at Cindy's school in Alameda. So she's also holding the grief of the students and the teachers, and so there's just a lot of So we just want to be in consciousness supporting her in any way we can as well. So I'm going to invite our song leaders to come up, and the invitation, as always, is to use this opening song as an opportunity to really ground ourselves in the here and in the now, and to be present to whatever is arising. We have a teaching that can hold it all, right? We can hold all the grief, we can hold all the frustration, we can hold it all from a place of love. And it might be working us a little. So we come together right now to just really be here in this room, anchoring it for us, anchoring it for the larger community, and then we anchor it for the world.
Please sing with us.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, Spirit is in this very room. And in this very room, there's quite enough love for all of us. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all of us. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, Spirit is in this very room. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, Spirit is in this very room.
So the invitation is to just continue to breathe into this space we're creating together. A space of peace, a space of exhale. And that is the invitation right now to just allow yourself to open your heart. I know it might be a little hard to do, but we are continually called to be more open, more loving. allowing our minds to quiet and allowing the beingness that is the very truth of who we are to arise in our understanding. And so I'm going to invite in this moment the prayer chaplains to rise, those members of the community that are anchoring that consciousness of potential and possibility. I'm going to invite Kathleen O'D to come forward with the prayer box. And I invite anyone who understands themselves as holding consciousness in any way to feel free to rise and to join those who are encircling, those of us who are here in time and space and those of us who are watching remotely. So the invitation as the opening, as an allowing, is a recognition of the love that we all are, a recognition of the truth of our beingness, of our light, that is eternal, that is never extinguished. Of our yes in time and in space to radiate that light so fully, to just shine brightly. And as we recognize the love that is, recognizing that it is the truth of each of us and this collective that we are, love, light, eternal in our beingness and manifested in time and in space. So we come together creating this sacred container, remembering what and who we truly are. And I invite you to place into this container whatever you're carrying on your heart, whatever feels too much, whatever feels in need of a upliftment. And that can be prayers of gratitude too, gratitude for the blessings we do have. We are holding Brianna and Cindy and all who know and love Steve. We're holding Leanne and Keith and their entire family. And I invite you to speak into this space, whatever it is that you're carrying in your heart that you would like to place into this container. You can speak it aloud right now. Whether it is spoken or unspoken, just knowing that it is held in this field that transcends time and space, so no matter when or where this is being watched, that it is all happening in consciousness right now. So we see peace where perhaps there is discomfort or grief. We see love where perhaps there is loneliness and missing. We see joy for the way that we get to shine into each other's lives. And we see abundance in the infinite overflow that is life itself. Allowing ourselves to acknowledge the truth of infinite potential. Right here, right now, that is ours to be, to do, to activate, to live as. And so in gratitude for this and so much more, beyond words, gratitude for this beautiful community, gratitude for these teachings, gratitude for the opportunity to be still and know, I do give thanks. And in agreement, I invite you to know with me by saying, and so it is. Amen. Ashe. Thank you. You can be seated. We're going to open the doors. I'm going to invite Gabe to come on up.
Awesome. I'm just so happy to be here. I'm looking at that magnificent, radiant stained glass up there, and I'm just reminded how special this place is. And thank you, Reverend Deanne, for this opening prayer. And I feel this is a place where strong people come to get their strength. And whether you're flat on your back or whether you're dancing around, this is the place to remind yourself of unconditional love, of how we care for each other. When you read the papers, it's hard to believe that, sometimes, but I really, every time I come here, I feel so energized, and I'm so happy to be here today. And I see a few new faces, and I want to welcome everyone who's new here, and I can't see you online, but I know many of you are out there. Welcome, and we always celebrate, every beginning of service, we talk about the different ways to connect and welcome, so I'll just go through them. But just remember, the purpose here is to have that one time in a week where you get to be really with people, let your guard down, feel love, feel strengthened in these times. So we have the welcome team. It's out in the courtyard. There's a welcome table, and there's some great food. We do this hospitality potluck, and we'll mention Rosa a little bit later. Many of you know who she is, but there's going to be a chance to support her a little bit more. But when you go out there, just notice the table. I think Charcelle's always there. You can do your sign-ups, and it's a great way to share and to give and take at the same time. We have a lot of social media connections. This slide is full of the possibilities, and I see that we need a few more YouTube subscribers. I highly recommend going there. It's again, if you look at the library, some of the amazing things that have happened here, they're still on YouTube. It's easy to connect with text. There's the number. I promise you, I've said this over and over, you don't get spammed. I get about one text a week, and it's really worth reading. We do have, for those of you who like pen and paper, our spiritual connection card. Just grab that, and you can write down. And if you have a concern, something that's weighing on you or something that's really lifting you up, and you want to put it in writing and share it, please do that. We pray over it here, then we send it to be prayed over. And it's really a nice way to just express and to be connected to this community. We have a lot of upcoming events, so I'll only mention the first one, which is in bold, the book study. So these books, Learning to Trust Yourself, this is still going on. These books are available in the bookstore, and it's again, the final week is coming up, but another of the many events, and all of these things are on the bulletin board just as you walk out the door here, or obviously online. Most of all of what I'm saying, you can just read the website or ask ChatGPT. So the next part of our service, we just like to remind ourselves, why are we here? What are those core principles Reverend Deanne was expressing and reminding us of? So I just want to highlight the first one is we say that we're a loving community. And that word inclusivity today really stands out for me. In a world where there seems to be a game going on of dividing people, this place is inclusive and unconditionally so. And I celebrate that, and I hope you all do. So let's read this together. Unity in Berlin is a loving community dedicated to spiritual growth, inclusivity, and service. We honor and care for ourselves, each other, and the natural world. And then we have the authenticity slide. So being true to ourselves, our values, and our spirit. Let's say those 3 points then. We share our voice, gifts, talents, vulnerability, and humility. We value honesty and take responsibility for our choices. We nurture trust by aligning our actions with our values. Thank you. And today's flower sponsor is Pamela. Is Pamela here? But she is celebrating, I know, Matthew and Conroy. Happy birthday, Matthew and Conroy. It's always so beautiful to have these flowers. It's another sort of liturgic, beautiful reminder. And if anyone wants to do that, again, there's sign-ups for that. So we also are celebrating the Artist of the Week, Carol Lamont. And again, this is a new program, and you can hear and learn more about her. A lot of it is in the after service here. And so, Reverend Deanne, I think we have the sacred service.
each week we highlight someone who has shown up in service, sort of stepping up. And I don't know about you, but I've been seriously leaning into the prayer field. And so this week I wanted to just honor and highlight the service that the prayer chaplains do. So if they could please stand so we could love you and appreciate you and say thank you. Thank you for holding the high watch for all of us. Thank you for anchoring something in this world and for this community so beautifully. Thank you. We wouldn't, the prayer chaplains are what I always tell them, like, you're the heart of the community, right? You're the healing heart of the community. And how many people in here are feeling like we need healing going on? So thank you. I just really wanted to say that. We wouldn't be here without that consciousness, without what they hold and navigate, and the expansion and the growth that they're always, saying yes to. They model something for all of us. So thank you to the prayer chaplains. So Rosa has found a new home. She has. This community showed up so beautifully. I was just so touched, and so was Rosa. So actually, she no longer needs anything. All needs are met, right? All of her needs are met, except for what? Work. Oh, right. So if anyone needs somebody to clean, that's what she does. That's her work. So if you know of anyone who needs somebody to clean, you can certainly touch base with Carolyn as well as with Rosa. But this next slide is a message from Rosa to us. I'm very grateful to God and to you, because she doesn't quite know that we know that's the same thing, right? For helping me in difficult times. I don't know how to thank you. I love you all. You are a very important part of my life. Thank you for everything. God will reward you. I have no words to thank you. So please, after service, please just go tell her how much we love her too. And what a light she is in our world, right? And we're going to talk some about that today, about giving is receiving, and, all of that. So if you do want to serve, if you're looking for an opportunity to serve for the community, we're doing a very special Dia de los Muertos this year. So each year we do honor those who have passed on within our own ancestral background, but I'm expanding. Good morning. Is everybody awake now? Can we just give Will some love? He ended up being by himself today up there, and he is just doing a phenomenal job, and that gratitude for him just being like, nope, I got it, no worries. So in addition to honoring those in our personal life who have passed on, we are also going to hold for our collective community and for the world. So we're going to have the ofrenda here in the front is going to be for the larger, the ofrendas on the sides will be for our personal. And in the front, please bring images or symbols or anything that speaks to the places that are breaking your heart open in grief right now. There's so many, aren't there? And we'll place them here on the ofrenda. There is something about processing grief in a collective that is more healing than almost anything that I personally know. So that's what we're going to be invited to step into, as a place of healing for all the grief. When I was at the retreat this past week, we had a process, our opening night of all the ministers, and as the ministers were going around and just sharing, it just hit me. I was like, we're all in grief. We're just grieving for a world that we don't recognize, we don't understand, or we feel is lost, or grieving, and we're all grieving. Doesn't matter where you are on the political spectrum. We all think that things are broken, right? So we're going to come together and sort of hold that for each other. So if you'd like to help set up the altars, the ofrendas, that's happening on Saturday, November 1st from 2:30 to 4 p.m. And the fabulous Carolyn Gauthier, what would we do without her, is your contact, okay? So reach out to her and she'll be in touch. So we have the fabulous Sharon Henderson with the Reflection Trio with us today. So I'm going to invite her and the trio up.
Thank you for having us back once again. This is like home for us. Thank you. Oh. And we are the light. We bring the light, we are the light. We embody the light. In all that we do, we speak of God as outside, but we know that God is inside. Yes? And they'll know us by the light that we bring. You're the horizon, the bright, the glimmer that breaks the constant night. God in the brilliance, the dream, the evidence of things unseen. Even the darkest days are temporary. God is the everlasting light. All of the time and space could not contain it. God is the everlasting light. We are the glory that stays. Come on, help me out. God never dims, God never fades. We are the power, the truth, and nothing can stop truth. Nothing can stop you. Even the darkest days are temporary. We are the everlasting light. All of the time and space will not contain us. We are the everlasting light. We are the everlasting light. We are the everlasting light. The end and the beginning, the new reality, outside my understanding, but still within my reach. As far as I can see, God's still closer to me. We are the everlasting light. The end and the beginning, the new reality, outside our understanding, but still within our reach. As far as we can see, God's still closer to me. The everlasting light. Even the darkest days are temporary. We are the everlasting light. All of the time and space will not contain us. We are the everlasting light. Oh, even the darkest days are temporary. We are the everlasting light. All of the time and space will not contain us. We are the everlasting light. Sing with me, oh, 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 oh. We are of the everlasting light. Sing it for yourself. Oh, 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 I am the everlasting. One more time. Oh, 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 I am the everlasting light. The end and the beginning, new reality outside my understanding, but still closer to me. As far as I can see, God's still inside of me. I am the everlasting light. Oh, and so it is.
Thank you. How often do we forget that it's all temporary? Can I just take a breath? That whatever we're in the midst of right now, we get to feel fully. And we also are being invited to hold the understanding that everything in time and space is always going to be changing. As much as we would love to just hold it tight, right? So we're at the end of our book study, and perfectly, it's turn up the light, right? Turn up the light. And the block that she highlights here is small-mindedness. And the breakthrough is selfless love. And there's something about that really touched me. She says in the book at one point, you get in your own way when you take actions from your smaller self. You discover your own way when you act from selfless love. I feel like I could just mic drop and I could just go sit down, right? Because this really is it. And as I said before, there's this fear makes us contract. False evidence appearing real makes us contract inward. It makes us sort of block off our heart, block off our understanding, and we become this small-minded, right? Our smallest self is what is making decisions and where we're living from. So who would we be if we were actually discovering our way, rather than feeling like we had to know our way? Because it's the discovery that we are always being invited into. She says, dare to show up in receptivity and service. Be a messenger from the realm of abundance. Your greatest healing may even come from giving what you desperately want to receive. I've said often, we cannot give what we do not have. But sometimes we know that there's something that we are being called to receive, whether it's more love or more comfort or more joy or more connection. And our way forward through that is to actually give that away. In the giving away of connection, in the giving of our love, in the giving of our joy, it is multiplied upon us. And it becomes something that we get to experience, that we get to be a participant in, be a stand for kindness. I mean, this to me jumped out, given everything that's been going on. How to be a stand for kindness. We stand in our values, but sometimes our values are not always kind. The way they can show up in time and in space are not always about kindness. How do we honor our values and be kind at the same time? And I love this. This is why the prayer chaplains really were alive for me in terms of sacred service. Or be a tuning fork that allows others to remember what is right in themselves and in this life. You know, all too often we walk around noting where people's foibles are, where their fault lines are, where their not enoughness is, where we see that they're supposed to grow. What if we actually walked around just in loving kindness and just being with wherever people are, without our judgment and without coming down? Because remember, if we're putting judgment out there, it actually is starting with judgment of ourselves right here. It's how we can understand what's alive within us is by looking at how we navigate the world around us. She shares a story in there about her father, and she has this epiphany in it where she says, I had been equally rigid in my definition of love. I'd only had one door that you could come through. And how often do we do that? How often do we decide this is what love is supposed to look like? This is how it's supposed to manifest. This will say that they love me, or that I am loved, or I am lovable. You know, I was reminded as I was reading about her father, I was of course reminded of my father. And I had a similar epiphany with my father, which I'm sure I've shared in the past, but I'm going to share it again because here we go. My dad was very sick for the last decade or more of his life. And it was very hard because it was things that, in my opinion, if he had just taken care of himself better, if he had acknowledged them sooner, they wouldn't have spiraled into what it became. Right? Judgment. A lot of judgment about the choices that my dad was making about his life and how that was impacting his health. And he was in and out of the hospital at least twice a year, right? And then he'd go into rehab and he'd be there for 6 weeks, and then he'd come home and then he'd be back in the hospital. It was like this ongoing story, and every time he came out, his health had deteriorated just a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. And I remember one time I went to visit him, and I was really struggling with his choices, really struggling. And he was being wheeled onto one of those, those pickup services where they come to get you to take you to a doctor's appointment. And he's being wheeled on there with the oxygen tank and the oxygen, and he's sort of sitting there. And I had this epiphany as I just looked at him that was about who he truly was. Not my narrative, not the story about his health, not my frustration with him, but just seeing him for who he truly was. And in that moment, something like unhooked from me, and that's similar to the story that she shares. Like, she just let go in that moment of like, you have to show up this way. What if I just meet you right where you are, with all my love, with all my compassion, with all that I am, and I'm not judging you anymore? And there was a tremendous shift in my father and my relationship from that point on. I stopped making him feel guilty about the choices he was making. I let him live his life the way he wanted to live his life. And if that meant eating a pound of butter with dinner, then that was what he wanted to do, right? He loved his food. He loved those things. Like he made a decision that was how he wanted to live his life. He didn't want to live on carrots and celery. He wanted the things that made him happy. And he gets to choose that. He does. So once I let go of my expectations, right? Once I opened up my door An entirely new relationship was possible with my Father. And so this piece from A Course in Miracles, all that I give is given to myself. I mean, this is what we talk about, that giving is receiving and receiving is giving. There is only one. So whatever it is that we're holding back from someone else, guess what? You're holding it back from yourself. That it's, it's that piece where we are continually being invited to grow and to expand. And so she talks about the joy of giving wildly, right? What is it if we just gave wildly? What if we didn't portion it out? What if we didn't say, okay, I'm only going to give this much? What if we were just extravagant with our love, with our giving, with our compassion, with our kindness? Because giving isn't meant to be an obligation. It's not meant to be puritanical. It's not supposed to be about, well, you should, right? Don't should on yourselves, right? It's not about that. It's about a deep awareness that we are called to give. And when we do that, we realize that we are so much more than we think we are. We realize we have capacities that we never knew were possible. How many people have come up against something in their life which asked them to give in a way that they didn't think they possibly could? And on the other side of it, they were like, wow, I did that, right? I did that. I had more capacity than I even imagined was possible for myself. And she has this quote, and this bothered me, so I'm going to bring it up because I don't agree with this statement, right? Which is, whoever is stronger in the lifetime will be the one who loves more. I understand what she was getting at, because there are times in our, especially when we're in our spiritual path, that we watch people who perhaps don't have the same tools, and we watch them flail around, and we get caught in the flailing sometimes, and yet we're being invited to always show up and sort of hold. And that every once in a while you can have a moment of like, why is it always me that's apologizing? Why is it always me that's stepping into reconciliation? I actually think it's really more about whoever is expanding in this lifetime is able to give more. Right? I don't believe that anybody is loving less than me. Does everybody feel the truth of that? No one is loving less than me or less than you. How it looks is all about what we are judging that love to look like. But it's really more about, are you willing to expand so that you can give more in this lifetime? Because I don't know about you, sometimes the people in my life who I know don't necessarily have all the tools that I do, I don't know that I'm stronger than them. They've come through some really messed up things. And the fact that they came through them means they're strong. And I would never take that away from someone, right? Never take that away from someone. And unity, right? Broken people make great trailblazers. Like, all my alarm bells are going off, right? Are we ever really broken? No. Do we feel broken sometimes? Yes. Okay, so we're modifying. We're understanding where she's speaking from, but we're not going to fall into the narrative that I'm actually broken or that you're actually broken. But, I love this line. Thank goodness light doesn't require perfection. Right? We don't need to be perfect. That's not the point. I love this too. Limitation put pins in my sofa, lumps in my pillow, so I could not fall asleep to my true potential. Right? Isn't that awesome? It's like all the places where we struggle, all the places where we come up against like, oh, I don't have. How many people in here have a narrative about something you don't have? Right? I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough love. I don't have enough peace. I don't have enough patience. Whatever the narrative is, that's a story that you've created. And what if that's about reawakening you to what you're truly capable of, which is so much more. So much more. Our dark days and stumbles are our training grounds. Your pain is your guru in disguise. We often say that about the people who really irritate us. They're our greatest teachers. They are our guru. They're here for us to learn a capacity that we are being invited to own. Same thing is true of our pain. And I love this line. We are in the soup, but it's a healing broth. Right? Understanding that in the midst of whatever we're in the midst of, anybody here in the midst of something right now? It is a healing broth, and I think that's the part that's so easy to forget. All we feel is that we're the frog in the pot, where the temperature is just getting hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. But we're missing out on the idea that it is what we are contributing that creates the healing broth. It is what we are being invited to bring to the soup that we are all swimming in that creates something that is healing rather than toxic. And it can go either way. Anybody in here felt toxic lately? Right? Angry thoughts, frustrations, all right? That's toxicity. That's okay. Right? I've been feeling toxic. I'll admit it. We are being invited to remind ourselves again and again and again and again that we are here to heal. We are here to expand. We are here to be more love. We may not have easy lives, not because we are broken. It's because our soul demands expansion. Right? That is what we're here for. To always reveal more and never less of the truth of who we have actually come here to be. And she says, maybe we have never been fit for this world. Again, lots of negatives in there, right? But the next part I thought was really kind of beautiful. That's exactly why we are the ones who will transform the world. So what if instead of trying to fit ourselves into a world that we're perceiving as broken, what if instead we are here to fit the world to our understanding of love and kindness? Right? What if that's actually the perspective, the consciousness that we are being invited to hold? That it's not that we have to give in to the world, but it's that we are going to transform the world through our understanding of what is actually possible. And that's a powerful mandate. Can you feel that? You cannot be small if that's what you're being called towards. So are you focused on what you don't have? Because we get caught up in that. She talks about how she's traveling through Thailand and all the altars, and at each altar she's saying, my intention, my desire is for, more clients. And she's doing like I'm stating my intention at every single altar, and then it hits her. Oh, what if I actually instead just give thanks for all that I have at every altar? Can you feel the difference in that energetically? By offering thanks, I'd be loving my life instead of making mental lists of where it might improve. Can we love our life? Can we be willing to say, this is amazing? I am so grateful. Joe Dispenza, who I actually really love, says the quantum field responds not to what we want. That's a misunderstanding of our teachings. Everybody take a deep breath around that, because it's so embedded in our teaching. Ask and it is given. I want that. I've told you that people have said to me that we're the teaching that believes God is a vending machine. That is not the truth of who we are. Because we do know that the quantum field, that which is all that there is, quantum field is just another word for God. It's another word for wholeness. It's another word for love, right? It's not about what we want. It responds to who we are being in the world. Who are you being in the world? And that's our own inner work. No one else can do that for us. As we watch what's going on out there in the world, we have to be really honest and know that that's alive in us somehow. We're not separate from it. Part of our work is owning and being the place, being a place of love. So you're all invited to be daring. Anybody in here feeling daring? I am. I'm at the point where it's like, all right, let's be daring here, right? Because staying small, is that serving anything? And the idea is to be daring. I'm not going to dim my light. I dare to shine generously, brightly, and bravely. Who would the world be if each one of us was doing that? Can we say this together as an affirmation? I will not dim my light. I dare to share generously, brightly, and bravely. Amen. So everything she has been talking about in this book is really about living an inspired life. And this is even last week's slide, basically, because I think this sums up a lot of things, which is that the practice of an inspired life is about transcending limitations. It's about transcending the places where we think we're done. Oh, that's all. I'm good here. All right? We strengthen our self-trust muscles by daring to do the things that make us doubt ourselves. That's what it means to be daring. The thing that makes you inside kind of have a like, oh boy, I don't know if I can do that. Yeah, that's the thing that's calling us forth. Because if you think back on your life, and you think about those roadblocks that arose, let's get my tenses correct, arose in your experience, which you would have thought, how am I supposed to do that? And yet we come out on the other side of it because we are bigger than any of the doubts that we may have about who we are. We are bigger than any of the doubts we have about our impact in this world. And we are bigger than any of our doubts about the fact that this world is broken. This world is not broken. This world is breaking open. And it is messy, right? But this world is not broken. This world is breaking open. And if you can't remember that, because it's hard sometimes, call a prayer chaplain. Call someone who can help you remember the infinite potential and the infinite possibility that is the truth of who we are. So our practices for this week is, think of someone in your life you wish would be different. Anybody have one of those, or two of those, or three of those? What expectations do you have of them, and how can you shift that, right? How can you shift that? If you were being outrageously generous, what might you do? What can you do as a crazy act of generosity? Really, I mean that, this week. What could you do where it's just like, this is crazy, but I'm going to do it anyway? What is your pain teaching you? And how might others benefit from what it's teaching you? This is where we take it not just from our own internal place. We are bringing it into the world. How can whatever you're learning, how can that also benefit others? She uses the word help a lot, and I'm going to invite us to just understand that where she says help, I would say serve. Right? Helping implies that I'm somewhere where these people are not, and I'm gonna help you because you can't do it yourself. So I'm just going to invite us to be in how can you benefit others, not help others. How can you benefit others? Can you feel the difference in that? In this moment, what are you thankful for? If you don't have a gratitude practice, I know most of us do, but if you don't, start one. End of your day, 3 things that you're grateful for. 3 things, just write them down. Text them to a friend, get a gratitude partner. Text it to somebody every night. Send them back and forth. What it does is then throughout your day, you find yourself thinking, oh, what am I grateful for? Because I got to do that text tonight. Right? Makes you pay attention and bring intentionality into your day. Is there an area where you feel lack? And what can you be grateful for in that area? What do you already have where you're feeling lack that you can shift the paradigm? And what could you dare to do? What would showing up look like if you dared to do it? So let's take this into our time of meditation. There's so much in this book. I'm thinking next week what I'll do is like an overview of what sort of came up, maybe even for the next 2 weeks, depending. Because there's so much in this, yes? Around how we are being called to stand in ourselves, to trust ourselves. If you truly trusted you, not the little you, but the whole you, the divinely human you, what could you do? Who could you be? How would this world benefit from you showing up unadulterated? Don't water yourself down. Don't put your light under a bushel. What would it mean for you to truly shine brightly? Where are the limitations you've placed around yourself? Somehow thinking that as we sort of create an enclosure for our energy, that we'll be able to conserve our energy. What if you actually blew some of those down and allowed the energy to flow back and forth? Maybe you're tired sometimes, and maybe you're energized at others. Trying to move through and past whatever that status quo might look like in your life. So as we quiet the breath, as we open the heart, the invitation is to just sit with any and all of that as to what is arising within you. Your most authentic, empowered, gorgeous, brilliant self. And let's rest together in that beingness, because the quantum field responds to our beingness for a few minutes together in the silence. How good it is to be still and know. How good it is to rest in our true nature and our true name. How good it is to know that the limitless resources of spirit are equal to every demand. This is true as each one of us. This is true of this community. This is true of the world. And so inviting ourselves to let and allow transformation to move through the dusty areas of our life, the places we might have closed down, the mausoleum of who we think we are. And just open the doors, open the windows, open the skylights, and allow for more life, more love, more joy, more prosperity, more abundance, more compassion, more power. Blessing all that is arising within each one of us, and knowing that it is blessed. I lovingly say, and so it is. Amen. Ashe. Thank you. I'm going to invite Sharon to come on up. Oh, there's an affirmation. Sorry, as they're coming up, we'll do the affirmation. I will say it first, and then I'll invite you to say it with me. I will not dim my light. I dare to shine generously, brightly, and bravely. Can we know this together, please? I will not dim my light. I dare to shine generously, brightly, and bravely. And so it is.
Song about coming together. This is a song about how word I am word, and I know how to serve. This is a song about now, and I say This is a song about coming together. This is a song about how word I am word, and I know how to serve. This is a song about now. Somebody told us to love one another. Quiet the mind and be still. Now is the time to believe who you are. Marry your soul with your will. And I say we are the ones who will heal. Now is the time to believe who you are. Remember, only love is real. This is a song about healing the healers, opening hearts with a song, changing the world with all of our hands, together standing our ground. And I say we are the ones who will heal. Now is the time to believe who you are. Remember, only love is real. We are the ones who will heal. Now is the time to believe who you are. Remember, only love is real. And this is a song about healing the healers, opening hearts with a sound, changing the world with all of our hands, together standing our ground. We are the ones who will heal. Now is the time to believe who you are. Remember, only love is real. 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 But this is a song about coming together. This is a song about how word I am word, and I know how to serve. This is a song about now. Ashe, and so.
That was beautiful, and Jeremy for the piano, and just Reverend Deanne, thank you so much for always delivering with honesty and with your own life, telling us as it is. And I know we need to move the service along when we're up here, but I'm going to ask you to indulge me for 30 seconds and just really to put a spotlight on Reverend Deanne. I'm lucky I come here every 6 weeks to do this, and I get to sit with her. And I have to say, even the words I wrote down from your talk, showing up, I think Reverend Deanne really shows up. I get to go home and come back in 6 weeks, and there's $28,000 worth of work to do that she'll have to deal with on Monday or Tuesday. That's showing up. And really, don't dim the light. I'd like to say not only in herself, but some of you out there have been in very dim lights, have not been seen, have been invisible, people who felt marginalized. And I think Reverend Deanne has really put herself and her beliefs into putting light on everybody, not just herself. And I would say, being brightly brave. Brightly brave. I mean, we're all imperfect, and that message has to be, a reminder for us not to overdo our idealism. But in all it, whether you're perfect or imperfect, do you show up the next day? Do you get up out of bed? Are you brightly brave? And I have to say you are. And as someone who was a former board president here and a mayor, we are uniquely blessed with Reverend Deanne. We are uniquely blessed. So thank you. All right, well, if you want to have more of this wonderful discussion about trusting yourself, we have the discussion circle afterwards. It's 30 minutes, and I sat in on the last one, and just a great place to really kind of ask some questions, close some gaps, reach some closure, and to learn more. So that's, as always, outside where we have the food and so forth. And then there's a couple of political things. We are a spiritual community, but we're also an active community, and we're an inclusive community, so it doesn't matter where you're on the spectrum. The binding principle here is our inclusivity, our connection, our love, and so forth. And we have the No Kings rally coming, And again, as we mentioned earlier in the service, Cindy is in Utah right now, but we still will be meeting. And the main thing is just to stay in touch, register online, be in touch online, and we'll understand what the next steps are as the schedule unfolds a little bit. And the other piece I think that's important in these times, again, a message for everybody, for me as a child of immigrants, is the Constitution of this country is so important. It doesn't matter what you believe, politically or how you voted. And I do believe the ACLU is an organization that just reminds us to hold to the Constitution. And they're doing a training. It's October 15th at 4 p.m. And it is online, so register, and whatever your beliefs are, let's just remember that rights are important, and we want to protect rights and be able to express ourselves, whether we're Republican, Democrat, red, white, whatever, rights are important. So that's what this training's about. One other thing, I just mentioned the $28,000 of ductwork. I want to run a harebrained scheme by you. I was very inspired by this talk, and I just cleared my mortgage and paid my daughter Grace's preschool. So I am going to donate $5, a little more. I'm going to donate 5 times 100, $500 to this, and I'm encouraging anybody here who wants to match me. If you put the money, I'll put the rest of the money in. So let's get this done. It's $28,000. It's, we've been here 60 years, but this is October's job, is to just take care of our building so that we can keep meeting here and keep going. So anyway, that's my commitment, but please, you see the QR code for those of you online. Every little bit counts, and let's get this done. And then the other thing that would help keep this community going is leadership role. It's a wonderful place, and it's a chance to put your spiritual principles into practice, to be on the board. We have 2 positions. Again, the code's up there, maybe in the courtyard. There's lots of board members here. You might just want to ask a little bit about it. It was, for me, an incredible learning curve. It launched me into local politics, so I would encourage everyone to do this. And finally, this is the part of the service where we get into the giving and receiving. We do come here and we get so much, and it's a nice chance, if only with a thought, a prayer. Some of us give our time and some of us of our money, but there's lots of ways to give. We have the Church Center app. There's, for those of you live streaming, there's the QR code, and there is, of course, here the envelope for the giving. So please, whatever you feel called to, it's really so important. And this is such a generous community, so I have to say, above all, thank you. You all have been giving so much already, but please, thank you for that. And there's the spiritual connection card as well. So let's say our offering affirmation together. I am the power of abundance, giving and receiving gratefully. Okay.
Okay. We ready? Okay. Healing. I've got a story to tell about something that I've been through, but I'm healed. Oh, I'm healed. Had some ups and some downs, level to the ground, but I'm healed. Oh, I'm healed. Had to wrestle all night long, wondering what went wrong, but I'm healed. Oh, I'm healed. Had some sunshine and some rain, heartaches and some pain. I'm healed. Oh, I'm healed. The God within me delivers and sets my soul free. My heart is mended. I'm whole within. The chains are holding me. Got my liberty.
had to wrestle all night long. Wondering what went wrong, but I'm healed. Had some sunshine and some rain. Heartaches and some pain. I'm healed. I'm healed. The God within me delivers and sets my soul free. My heart is mended. I'm whole within. The chains are falling. Got my liberty. I'm healed today. I'm healed today.
Community blood drive that is going to be on October 19th. So we're hosting it here, the Bloodmobile. I think we did this about 10 years ago, I remember. So any of you who can do that, it's a really wonderful way. There's always a need for blood. We also need some volunteers to decorate. We'll be hosting the Marin LGBTQ Center. And it's a fundraising luncheon that's on October 24th and 25th. So if you have a chance, please come and help decorate and help celebrate. Another is the Dia de los Muertos service, and that's on November 2nd. So it's really, it's such a wonderful, I didn't know much about that until the Disney movie came out, but it is in these times really about not just death, but comfort and grieving and collective grief and sharing. And so this will be another, if you haven't experienced something like this, it's another great opportunity for us to come together and to really share together. And then lastly, we have the Blessing of the Animals, and that will be on November 8th, and that's 10 in the morning. We've also had that here before, and it's really amazing to me how close some people are to their pets and animals. It's even if you go to South Marin, they've opened 2 pet hospitals, one by Trader Joe's and now another one opened up, and it really just shows the relationship, the bonding, and it can be very healing. So we'll have that blessing on November 8th. Finally, the chaplains, if you please rise. We had you stand at the beginning and fittingly at the end of the service. Really, one of the foundations of our community is prayer, and these wonderful dedicated volunteers are here to pray with you. So if you have a chance, maybe just say hi to them, or if you have a concern. Everything is in confidence and is really lovingly listened to and prayed upon. So chaplains, thank you for your service. Finally, could we have the kids come in?
So, Suzanne, come on in. We have our youth and family ministry, and we're also going to be invited. We have a blessing that we say. We're going to say it for the children of the world. Particularly, I'm thinking of Ukraine and Gaza right now. Very alive for me at the moment. And the children in our own community. Rosa is resettled, and that's partly because we showed up. There are 60 families that were impacted by that fire, and they're still trying to figure out, right? So we want to hold all of them, and I love the artwork. It's fabulous. So I'm going to invite us to stand. I'm going to invite us to open our hearts and extend our love. And just knowing the truth of this is one of the things we stand as. We say together, you are the perfect expression of divine light. We love you exactly the way you are. And so it is. Amen. Oh, grab a... Oh, he can. We're going to get him a microphone. It's the green one. He's going to explain it. I love it.
Hello, my name is Indy.
Hi,
I
Indy.
made this collage. These are penguins. These are sea turtles. I put I put these on my collage because I like them. I like nature, so I put nature on there. And I drew a couple stuff and wrote my name downward. And my
I
last
love it. Do you want to share? I think she wants to share too, Carolyn. Do you want to share?
no.
I love it. She's got boundaries. Isn't that awesome? All right, let's say our prayer for protection. And they'll have their artwork out in the courtyard, yeah? So you can show it off to people in the courtyard. How does that sound? Okay? All right. Together we say, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is. And so it is. And our closing song.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful.
I'll be right here at the door, and then I'll be out in the courtyard for the discussion circle.